My name is BALDWIN, and this summer I'm in Kenya on a co-op with Free the Children, BALDWIN. While being in Kenya, I've had the chance to really work on my learning objectives. The first learning objective that I picked is communication. The first aspect that I've grown in this is that I've had the chance to speak to a variety of different groups. I have experience in public speaking and being able to express myself, but while being here, I've learned that it's very different when you're talking to different people and how different everyone really is. So if you're talking to a group of 15-year-olds or a group of 60-year-olds about social justice issues, how you present your ideas to them and your thoughts are very different. Your tone, your vocabulary, and what you want them to take out of it is very different. In this way, I've learned that it's very important how I speak to them if I want the message to be put across. The second way I worked on communication is with my supervisors. I've learned how to stay professional about talking about deadlines and conflict resolution, and while always talking to them to making sure that we're both on the same page. And lastly, communication has really been ameliorated for myself while trying to speak with the Kenyan community, as they aren't fluent in English, so therefore there's a constant language barrier. So I've really tried to build strong relationships within the community so that I have something to take away when I go home, and that to show that I've really tried to immerse myself in the community. The second aspect of my learning objective is teamwork. Teamwork is absolutely crucial for a facilitator. I have to be constantly working with my other facilitators and the youth and participants that are on the trips. So I have about 30 participants on a trip. I have to be constantly making sure that I'm checking in with them, talking to them, making sure that they're having fun, that they're enjoying themselves, that they're safe, and they're learning as much as possible so that they are getting the most out of their trip. And then I must collaborate and work with my other facilitators to make sure that we are preparing the correct modules, creating the right vocabulary and ways to educate the participants, and that everything is running smoothly. To work with so many people in such a close proximity for like a good period of length, each trip lasts about 3 weeks, I have to have an open mind, be open to different perspectives, and really collaborate and make sure that my ideas are being heard, but so are theirs. The last learning objective that I've worked on while being in Kenya is professional behavior. I worked on this aspect while corresponding with my supervisors to make sure that I am a good representative of the values of Free the Children and BALDWIN. I want to make sure that I'm a good role model for all the participants to make sure that they continue to empower the world and to create change, and that they continue to make sure that they are involved with Free the Children. I've also really worked on professional behavior. As coming to Kenya, I've really immersed myself in the community, and this means realizing that Kenya has different traditions than North America. So in this way, I had to be respectful and professional about the different traditions, the different things they value, things as possibly like the value that goats and animals are significant to them, or how like clothing is such a different, is takenly so different than what we see in North America. So respecting their different traditions really shows that I am professional and that I want to immerse myself as much in the Kenyan tradition and respect and learn from them. As a facilitator, my primary role is to safely lead a group of participants through hands-on volunteering through Free the Children and BALDWIN activities in Kenya. To do this, my responsibilities can be divided into two main categories. The first being health and well-being of participants, the second being youth empowerment. For the first, for the well-being of participants, my co-facilitators and I will work as a team to ensure that we know the background story of all participants and the whereabouts of all participants at all times. Secondly, to be here in Kenya working this job, I had to be fully trained in first aid, so this is that I can assess and monitor the health of participants at all times. This includes safety and monitoring serious to minor health injuries, also physical and mental health. Safety and health is a primary concern for us. We want to make sure that they enjoy the trip the best they can. And lastly, is to ensure safety, I monitor their health and how they're working at the build site, so making sure that they're using the tools correctly and that they're in no harm's way from each other and anyone else. And also for safety, we make sure that they feel safe when they're in the community, working with other community members and working with each other. My second main role as a facilitator is to educate youth to start planning and taking tangible actions to change the world locally and globally. I do this by facilitating modules that are high energy and help educate the youth on further social justice issues, and it allows them to take time to think about what passions inspire them. To be a good facilitator and facilitate these modules, I must represent to be and be a good role model of the Free the Children values, be well educated on social justice issues, job is there's no typical day. Say for example, today we started with a morning hike where we saw the sunrise, and then on the way back we saw kids walking to school. Our morning activity was to go to the build site and help build a classroom that will allow more kids to go to school. We were working on building up the walls. Our afternoon activity was to drive to the Kisaruni All-Girls High School, where we chatted over chai and mandazis, which are traditional Kenyan treats, to learn about the lives and their daily schedules. Then we drove here, which is at Boma Camp, and behind me we have traditional Maasai huts, which are made of mud and sticks, and this is what normal Maasai people live in. Taking an international co-op has been the best thing ever. Why do I recommend doing one? Because I get to immerse myself in a new culture and understand the importance and the background of Kenyan traditions. Because I love that I'm challenged daily to adopt new ways of living, like learning to live without access to clean water, walking everywhere on dirt roads, and not being fluent in Swahili, so having a constant language barrier. And I get to spend my lunch break at the Mara River watching the hippos. Because I get to spend my day on safari! I've learned the vegetation and the animals that occupy Kenya. Recommend choosing a co-op that pushes you outside your comfort zone and challenges you. Don't be afraid to apply for jobs that you have zero experience in just because you've always wanted to try it. It's okay to be new in something. Here I am in Kenya working for the children. I never thought I'd be here in a million years, and I've never done anything like this before. And also try to do something that really speaks to your passions and what you truly love. Don't just find a co-op that fits the co-op criteria. Really do something you absolutely love and you care for, because if you love what you're doing, you never really work. This summer I've had an absolute blast. I can honestly say I didn't feel like I was working any single day of the summer.